It's Wednesday, January the 18th. Before I get into the fishing report, I want to remind you just one more time that Sportsman Factory Outlet is having the deal starts tomorrow. It's Meet with the Pros. They're having all kinds of special discounts throughout the store. And you're going to have a bunch of deals going on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I've got a little flyer here. If you go to Table Rock Lake Fishing, it's got all the times when the different anglers are going to be there. But Dion Hibden, Bassmaster Classic winner and FLW Tour champion, is going to be there. Dion's actually going to be there Friday and Saturday. But James Watson's going to be there. Casey Scanlon. There's going to be some local anglers. Bobby Albert, Brent Aljo, myself. FLW angler Greg Bohannon is going to be there. Marcus Sequoia from Lake of the Ozarks is going to be there. I think Marcus is going to be there Friday as well. And there's going to be a couple crappie gurus. Terry Blankenship and Rick Flint are also going to be there. So it's going to be a pretty neat deal. You're going to be able to get a lot of one-on-one with these guys, pick their brain about different things. And if you haven't been to Sportsman Factory Outlet, it's a great time to check out their museum in there. It's got a bunch of Ozark heritage in there. But as far as the fishing report, I went out yesterday and today. You know, that rain and freezing rain and everything, and we were supposed to get all last weekend. We were fortunate. We avoided most of it. We got a little bit of rain out of the deal. Not enough to change the lake level. Lake level's still about 8 foot low. It's like 907 and a quarter. Actually, water temperature went down a little bit. You know, I'm finding not much over 47 degrees on the main body of water. If I get into the river arms, you'll get into the low 40s. You know, the shallower water that you get into up in the rivers, the colder you're going to find the water. But for the most part, it's, 46 to 48 degrees. And I actually found the fishing to be kind of tough the last couple of days. We fished about 3 hours yesterday and fished a full day today. And I fished up in the Upper White River. We spent a lot of time looking for deep fish. You know, before the holiday break, the Kentuckys and largemouths were really schooled up deep on a lot of the main lake points and back in the creeks. A lot of those fish have seemed to disappear. I'm still catching one here and one there, but really having to work at it. I'm not finding near the concentrations. But we did get onto a pretty good jerkbait bite this afternoon and a crankbait bite. They'll still bite wigglewort pretty good, or a rock crawler, or like a Strike King Series 3, anything in a crawdad pattern. A lot of my jerkbait bites, like I was saying a couple weeks prior to this, were coming more off of rock transitions. Well, today we caught a lot of them kind of traditional winter patterns. They were more around pole timber and cedar trees on secondary points. And most of the fish that we caught today were in the creeks. We didn't catch too much on the main lake. Now, some of the creeks might have had 70, 80 foot of water in them, but they were on like secondary points back in the creeks, around the timber. And the crankbait fish were in behind the timber. Most of the fish we caught, were good quality fish. We had several in the 3 to 3.5 pound range. Which is good, especially when you're not getting a lot of bites. It's good to get quality bites. Now the jerkbaits I've been throwing today, when it's cloudy, I like something a little bone color. Now this is kind of crazy. This one here, it's known as the Table Rock Shad, but it's bright chartreuse and purple. Why it works on this lake in the clear water is beyond me, but it seems like it works best for me when it's overcast and cloudy. And the sun gets out, I like something a little bit more shad pattern. And that one there was a Spro mixed stick. This one here is a Megabass. It's got a little purple. I like something with a little bit of flash when the sun's out. If I don't have the sun, I want something a little bit, less bold. Something with a dull finish. I think works a little better. Now the rod I'm usually throwing a jerkbait on, I like to throw it on a 6/8, and Lew's makes, this is a custom speed stick, but it's actually made just for jerkbaits. And I've got a 7.5 to 1 team lose reel. Now, if you're going to get a new setup for throwing a jerkbait, I would strongly suggest the rod. To me, is a lot more important than the reel, because you're fishing the bait real slow, about 3 to 4 seconds in between twitches. So the speed ratio, I don't think is all that important. I guess what I'm getting at, if you're going to spend, if you don't have enough money to buy both, spend the money on the rod. Do the reel later. Now you want a rod, it's got a nice soft tip. A lot of times these baits are hard to throw. And if you have trouble throwing it on the bait caster, put it on a spinning rod with 8-pound line. You'll get a lot longer cast. You won't have to fight the wind. Line size I usually use is 10 pound. Now I will use mono sometimes, but most of the time I like a 10-pound fluorocarbon. The fluorocarbon absorbs water and actually sinks, so that'll help you get the bait down a little bit deeper. And I know I've told you this before, but on my jerk baits, I use either suspended dots or I use a little lead wire to wrap around the hooks. And I want the bait, when set dead still, I don't want it to have any rise. I want it to have just a little bit of fall to it. And as the water temperature changes, the density of the water, you might have to readjust your baits. Colder water, the baits will sink more. Warmer water, they'll rise because the water's less dense. So that's just a couple things on the jerk baits. And I believe this fight's going to get better. I don't know what's going on for sure with the deep fish. Normally, in about late February or middle of February, a lot of them deep fish start to vacate where they've been all winter and start moving up shallow. Well, we haven't really had a winter yet, so the fish had got deep, and I thought they were going to kind of stay in them winter areas for a while. But I'll get out some more this week. Maybe I can relocate them, but they're not in the same area that they were a few weeks ago. I seem to be doing a lot better shallower. And with that water temperature, they'll still bite a wigglewort clear down into the 40s. You just got to slow your retrieve down a little bit. Most of the crankbait fish we caught today were 5 to 8 feet deep. The jerkbait fish were probably 12 to 15 foot deep around submerged timber. So if you get a chance, come over to Sportsman Factory Outlet. Like I say, they're going to have all kinds of sales on different product. Pro Guide Batteries is going to have some special on their batteries. So, if you're getting your boat out, you hadn't had it out all winter, check your batteries. If you need any, now's the time to come in and get them. Looks like the weather's going to be real nice this weekend. It's going to be, I think tomorrow, mid-50s and 60s into the weekend. So until next week, good luck, good fishing.